It is my son.
It is my daughter.
It was my boyfriend.
You know someone who is suffering from addiction.
It was my mom.
It was my dad.
Recovery Ways in Murray, residential treatment for substance abuse and other addictions.
It is me.
Recovery Ways 30 to 90-day clinically proven programs will bring healing to the mind, body, and spirit. Recovery Ways, healing from addiction, freedom for life. Find us at recoveryways.com or call today with questions at 888-9-QUIT.
I'm from Cape Verde Islands, and the gospel is important to me because it's changed my life, it's given me purpose, and it's helped my family a lot.
The country of Estonia has had plenty of heartache, a nation conquered throughout the centuries by numerous countries, most recently Russia in 1940. But Estonia declared independence from the Soviet Union in 1990, the same year the church was allowed inside the country. Today, just over 1,000 Estonians call themselves Latter-day Saints. 4 years ago, Elder Matthew Richardson was called to serve in the Baltic States mission.
I thought the first presidency was pulling a prank on me. The Baltic States, I didn't know where that was.
The Baltic States mission consists of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, a gateway between Europe and Russia. Elder Richardson spent his entire 2 years in Estonia. He arrived in September of 2007.
My first thought was, it's so flat. It's very green, lots of trees, but so flat, no mountains. It's pretty cold in the winter. There's actually like 3 to 4 hours of sunlight for a couple of months. But in the summer it's nice because the sun never sets.
It was also nice to spread the gospel in a country of roughly 1.3 million people.
The people are a little bit closed off at first just because they've been taken over so many times by the Germans and the Russians and the Poles and the Swedes, and they've had so many different religions thrust upon them. And so they're a little bit not as trusting at first, and it's actually the most atheistic Eastern European country too. Just the fact that, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old young men and young women would learn this very difficult language. It's a cousin language to Finnish. The fact that you spoke their language, that really softened them up. And even if they didn't want to talk to you about God, people were very, I would say, respectful just because we had learned their language, and they actually took an interest in that, and that was a good door opener.
Elder Richardson was able to open many doors, helping in the conversion of 12 Estonians who went into the waters of baptism. Last summer, the missionary returned to Estonia, where 7 of those 12 went through the Helsinki temple to take out their endowments. He recorded their beautiful testimonies.
On elu palju muutnud ja on igasuguseid asju ette tulnud, aga tunnistus on.
Aga ma tean, et see kirik on õige, et Jooses Mikk oli see väike poiss, kes otsis kirikut, nagu kõik inimesed otsivad, ja ta leidis, ja ta nägi metsas Jeesus Kristust ja Jumala poega.
Tean, et Toomas Esmonson on meie tõeline prohvet. Ma olen selle kohta ka lugenud ja tunnistuse saanud. Ma tean, et see kirik on tõsi.
Ma usun, et Jeesus Kristus on Jumala poeg. Ja meie kirik on õige. Seda katkestada enam ei ole mingit võimalust.
Ja ma saan seda kõike tunnistada.
Jeesus Kristuse nimel.
Amen.
Elder Richardson said the roots of the gospel are now connecting to the second generation of Latter-day Saint Estonians. By the way, the Book of Mormon was translated into Estonian in January of 2000. Speaking of translation, 50 years ago, the church began translating General Conference. Then only 4 languages were interpreted: French, German, Spanish, and Tongan. Today, 92 different languages are translated worldwide. It's lights.
Interpretation and translation is an art form.
Microphone.
We have a one-time shot at it.
And action as the General Conference interpreters get ready for another big weekend.
One of the things that we try to do is we try to train our interpreters to follow the emotions of the speaker. And if they are, being forceful in what they're saying, then we teach our interpreters to also be forceful.
Interpreting conference is an enormous undertaking. Nearly 800 people are involved in the overall process, many of them volunteers. The global broadcasts reach millions of listeners, making it one of the largest interpretation efforts in the world.
To me, it's calling for life. I enjoy it. When I know that there are some Laotians out there, members, sometimes non-members, who watch the conference and that keep me going.
It's a big responsibility, lots of pressure, but it's such an honor, and I feel very humbled.
They also feel a need to get it just right, training several times a year. While some are professionals, interpreters are often students, immigrants, even former missionaries. But their ability goes beyond their talent and training.
I have to prepare myself spiritually and mentally. I think that helps. And I also prepare myself to get to know a little bit about the speakers, you know, their style in giving the talk.
The moment that we push the button, the word is loud and clear, and in many languages, and it is a blessing to be able to participate.
Now, conference isn't the only weekend that keeps the interpreters busy. Each year, they help in over 200 events and special projects. Well, coming up next, we move on to the Middle East and speak with a church member living and working in a Muslim country. But first, each week we showcase some of our missionaries serving around the world. If you'd like to share a picture of an elder, sister, or couple missionary that you know, please send it to mormontimes@ksl.com.
The harvest is great and the labors are few, but if we're united, we all things can do. We'll gather the wheat from the midst of the tares and bring them from bondage, from sorrows and snares.